Om Namo Baghavathe Shri Ramanaya. Hari Om. Glad to be here, sharing my reflections in this series of Ramana's Atma Vichara. And today we are going to discuss what Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi has to say about the path of devotion, Bhakti Marga, where one realizes the truth, which is one's own self. And I would like to use a couple of verses from the text Upadesa Sara. The verse number 8 and 9. So firstly we will look at the verse number 8. I will chant the verse and then let's reflect on the meaning of that. Beda bhavanat sohamityasau bhavana bida pavani mata. Here Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says Beda bhavanat. Beda bhavanat means without any distinctions. Beda means distinctions. So the meditation with distinctions, Beda Bhavanat, compared to the meditation with distinctions. What are these distinctions? I am an individual, I am a finite entity, I am a jiva, and the Lord is infinite, something other than me. That attitude will always maintain the gap between that and me. So then there will be always differences. I am finite and the Lord is infinite. I am an individual and I am small and Lord is so big, all pervading, etc. So that differences. So here he says Beda Bhavana, so reflecting and thinking about the Lord with such differences. Compared to that, he says, Saha aham miti asau abhida bhavana. He says, Saha aham, he is me. Saha is he, aham is me, so he is me. So, in that manner, he is me, I am him. In that manner, abhida bhavana, without any differences, bhavana, meditating. So, thinking about, reflecting upon and meditating with this attitude, that is soham. Saha aham is soham. So, he is me or I am him, where you don't maintain any distinctions, you don't maintain any differences. So, with that attitude, when you reflect, when you meditate, when you think about the Lord, then Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, Pavani Mata, and that is considered as the most purifying thing. Pavani is purifier. So, what is this purification? We need to understand. The purification is nothing but the thoughts, what we have and what we continue to entertain, where we say, I am a finite entity, I am so and so, etc. Those thoughts are considered to be impurity of the mind. Impurity of the mind is the notion that I am a finite entity, I am a person. These thoughts are considered the impurity of the mind, which leads to sorrow. So here he says, when you develop this attitude where he is me and I am him, and try to meditate and reflect on that, that purifies your mind, meaning gradually we come out of this notion that I am a finite entity. So that is what Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi is trying to say in this verse, where the attitude of Soham, I am him. With that attitude, when we reflect, think about, meditate on the Lord, then our mind becomes pure. Compared to meditating, reflecting, thinking about the Lord by maintaining and retaining and keeping the differences, that I am a finite entity and the Lord is infinite, He is sitting either above there and I am here, compared to that. So the question arises, okay, when you meditate with that attitude, Soham, I am him, or he is me, and if that purifies, then what happens is the question. For that, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi has an answer in the next stanza, the 9th stanza of Upadesa Sara. So let's look at that. Bhava shunya sa bhava sustiti bhavana bala bhakti ruttama. So here he says, bhavana balad. So by the strength of that meditation, what meditation? What he already indicated, where he said Soham. So with that attitude of Soham, where you try to reflect and think about and meditate on the Lord, where you don't maintain any distinctions and differences between you and the Lord. So when you meditate like that, bhavana balat, by the strength of that meditation, what happens? He says, bhava shunya sadbhava shustiti. So then what happens is bhava shunya, then your mind become free of all thoughts. When your mind become free of all thoughts, he says sadbhava sustiti, then you abide in the sat, in the truth, sadbhava, the truth, and you start abiding in that. So as a result of this Soham meditation, what Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi said, that which is the most purifying, what will happen is you will start abiding in the truth. Why? Because that gradually empties your mind of all the thoughts. He says bhava shunya. Bhava shunya is your mind becoming free of all thoughts. And then you start abiding in the truth or the self. And he says, this is the Uttama Bhakti. The highest form of devotion is this. So the highest form of devotion is where you lose all the distinctions between you and the Lord. And with that kind of meditation, Soham meditation, your mind becomes empty. And when your mind becomes empty or free of thoughts, Bhava Shunya, then Sadbhava Sustiti. So you gain abidance in the truth or Sat or the Self. So the one point we need to reflect here is that how does this Soham attitude results in Shunya Bhava, that is mind becoming empty. So when you let go of this I am a finite entity notion, then the mind becomes free of all thoughts. So to let go of the I am a finite entity notion, this Soham is a technique which is pointed out in the Bhakti Marga, where eventually you have to assert your identity with the Lord, where you and He are one and the same, and not that you are different and you are a finite entity, because that will keep you separated all the time. So that's why Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, he says that is the best form of bhakti, where you don't maintain the difference. Because if you maintain the difference, then you are insisting that you are a finite entity. And as long as you insist that you are a finite entity, you are not going to realize who you are. So the best form of bhakti is to transcend the distinctions and differences between you and the Lord, and start meditating in this one thought, Saha Aham, Soham, Soham, Soham. Om Namo Baghavathe Shri Ramanaya.